JB, good to see you. I'm sure you get this question a lot. Are you ever too old for an annuity? As Americans live longer and face growing concerns about outliving their savings, annuities have become a very popular way to create steady retirement income. In fact, annuity sales surpassed 432 billion in 2024. We're still waiting on the 2025 numbers. That's all according to LIMRA. Of course, timing is everything. If you're under 50, an annuity probably isn't the right move, but on the flip side, most insurers stop selling them once you hit 90. So when is the right age to buy an annuity?
Hey, Erin, good to see you. We all love a great rule of thumb or good rule of thumb,
Yep.
but it really depends on risk tolerance and goals. We've seen folks who never want to buy an annuity. We've seen folks who have come to us and they're in their 20s and they've said, "Hey, my parents or grandparents had an annuity. I have extra savings. I've been putting it in CDs periodically over the years. I plan on continuing to do that." So we see folks under 50 and over 50 get annuities. And it just all depends on what is your risk and how does an annuity potentially align with your goals? And would an annuity be a good fit for you?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are wondering, what problems do annuities solve?
Annuities are designed to help people generate a guaranteed income that you cannot outlive. That's the
Okay.
number one goal that we see people who look at annuities see them look at. They also, depending on the type of annuity, they can help with tax deferred growth.
Mm.
So think that person who may have CD investments in a CD, they may not, or a money market, they're going to pay taxes every year. Well, if someone wants to save on taxes, we see folks look at annuities in order to reduce their tax burden. And then on the fixed side, they like to have another asset class that can be guaranteed, and so they don't have to worry about risk. Some people will call them bond alternatives or CD alternatives. It's just nice to have something like with a fixed, they can pay at a set rate. A variable annuity, you actually own the investments that are inside of that account. And depending on how things work, your fees can be low or high. So you need to look at it with a financial advisor to see, is a variable annuity a good fit for you? And then an index annuity, it's kind of a hybrid of the two, where it you can share in the gains of whatever index the annuity is linked to. You do not you do not incur any of the risk. The risk is incurred by the insurance company or the broker where they bought their options. So there's different types of annuities, and some of them can work just depending on your goals. But it's important to talk with a fiduciary who can help you assess, is an annuity right for you.
Right. And I think they've become increasingly popular because fewer of us have pensions. JB, explain what we're looking at here, please.
So 100 years ago, most workers were provided a pension from their employer, and the employers were in the business of investing to help guarantee retirement for their employees. As time moved on, we started to see those pensions decrease, and I was honored to be invited to write an article for Kiplinger on this topic back in
Hmm.
2019. And you see in this chart how the number of folks who have pensions has decreased. Back in 2019, it was down to 4% of employees had a pension from their workplace. Now it's even lower than back in 2019. So an annuity can help to fill that income gap, similar to a pension, where you can help to provide that guaranteed income.
Hmm. So buying an annuity could mean loss of liquidity. So how much of our assets should be in an annuity?
This is a great question. Just like before, rules of thumb are there and they're good for you. It really depends on, this is another reason why it's so important. Work with someone who has experience in this area, who
Hmm.
knows annuities, but also has an understanding of how the markets work and how all asset classes can work and help you fill your goals. Because the answer is, we've seen folks have 0% of their money in annuities. We've seen folks come to us who have 60 or 70% of their assets in annuities. That can be on the high side, but it really depends on what are their goals. So you have to be sure that you work with someone who can help, just like with risk tolerance. It's important to identify, what do you need? Is an annuity right for you? And how much money do you have? And what's that income gap?
Hmm.
Do you have enough
And
money for your income?
you touched on this before, but what are the tax implications that come with annuities for you and your heirs?
So if you look at the simplest type of annuity, if someone has $100,000 in the bank and they're not sure where to invest that money. If you put it in a non-qualified annuity, the difference is, instead of paying taxes on the gains every year, so think if an annuity is paying 4 or 5%,
Yeah.
and you earn $4 or $5,000 in interest, instead of paying tax on that every year, as long as you leave it in there, it will continue to grow tax deferred.
Mm.
Now, when you take it out, you have to pay taxes. If you pass away and you have an annuity, your heirs have to pay taxes. So you will have, similar to a pre-tax retirement account, the account will continue to grow until you take money out. So you can earn more by saving on the taxes, but you have to keep in mind, where is your tax rate going to be in retirement? And then also, if it is in a Roth IRA, you would not pay taxes. So
Mm.
think of an annuity just as a wrapper. It's an investment vehicle. You can get a non-qualified, you can get an IRA, you can get a Roth. So, but with the non-qualified annuity, it can help save a good bit on taxes with that tax deferral.
Hmm. So, JB, let's say that you sit down with a client and you determine that annuities are not a good fit. What's another option for a stable retirement income?
And that's a great question, because they're not a good fit for everybody. But folks who need that income, you can look at certain types of bonds if you can find something that's paying higher interest. Unfortunately, bonds aren't paying the way that they used to, but there are some, like structured bank notes. Those typically, if you have a good one, they can pay good interest rates. We also see some folks will have CDs when CDs are paying good interest. The interest rates have dropped in recent months. But you can have, if you have enough money, you can really invest in whatever you want. Anything that pays a dividend or recurring revenue, like dividend paying stocks, those are other things that we look at. And that's what we really like to look at. What are folks' goals, and where do they want to go? And what is the exact mix of investments? There's no one
Mhm.
size fits all. A lot
Right.
of times it can take a lot of these different types of accounts in order to meet people's goals.
Right. If it were one size fits all, this would be so much easier, but if that's just not how it works. So, JB, if somebody would like to sit down with you, talk through whether an annuity makes sense for them or maybe some other option makes more sense, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is give us a call at 803-939-4848, or visit us online at beckettfinancialgroup.com.
Great. JB, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Erin.